Hello, everyone. This is Cristiana El Trayan, your host for the Pranic Consciousness Summit. We are having here with us Pascal. His full name is Pascal Martelli. He is a healer and a pranic teacher. He has been living on prana for some years now, and he's having a fabulous lifestyle that he's willing to share more about with us. Hello, Pascal, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, nice to have me the opportunity to share a bit my experience here. I'm really so happy to enjoy with also same-minded people about spirituality and consciousness. About my style life, this is a bit particular. I'm already now for 2 years enjoying actually to visit the world. I'm now in Lanzarote. It's a Gran Canaria island. And from there, I'm enjoying the national park because I'm hiking a lot and also enjoying just the landscape. So, and this is also through distance healing that I'm doing also my work. I'm working with Skype. So it's working really nice. And every 2-3 weeks, I'm coming back to Switzerland where I'm giving some courses, also some healing days. This is how I'm living right now. But the next part would be, for me, would be maybe to go back to parapsychology, because my background is a bit more on a scientific part. I made physics study. I've made my PhD in Zurich. This is the German part of Switzerland. And then I moved to California 1 year in neuroscience. So at this place, we were working on the brain and seeing how the brain is interacting with different kind of altered state of consciousness. And I'm really willing to go further in this direction. So for example, if a person is resting or meditating or having a dream, the brain, the activity, the electrical activity of the brain will start to change. And actually with pranic state, this is also really interesting because till now there was no real research about it.
And we are so happy to have you here with us. And we were looking forward to meet a scientist in this field because we know it's the pranic lifestyle. So the ability to be nourished by an alternative source of fuel other than food. So basically to let people know you are some of the ones who do not need physical food in order to be nourished. Yes.
Yes, that's right.
And you have had this experience for how long now?
Actually, 3-4 years ago, when I was doing my healing, when I say healing, this is spiritual healing. So it's a bit related with Reiki, where we're making the imposition of hands and we're making the connection towards the divine nature. And we're just allowing to be just a channel, to allowing this energy to flow through the body. And when I was healing, at this time, it was my friends, my family, before it's starting to be a bit bigger and other people came to me. I was really feeling this love within myself. And this energy was sometimes so powerful that I couldn't sleep for 7 hours after having given some healing. And then also the hunger, the physical hunger was starting to decrease. And after specific meditation day, I just realized something is changing in my body. So my physiology was different. And then I just go on the internet to see what's happening. And there I read the book of Jasmine. Then I also watched the movie. At the beginning, it was The Light. And then I was starting to understand what's happening in my body at this time. And then I decided to move to take the course, the 21-day process with Henri Montfort. It was in 2015 in Italy. And I was reading already so much information about it. So just before the process, I was already there. It was just a question of habits, of having much less or nothing. And since then, I really feed, I would say, myself with 3 kinds of behavior. The first one is meditation. I'm really used to meditate a lot. This was really important for my also own personal growth because I'm working as a medium, and I'm getting all my teaching through my meditation. So through the meditation, I'm connecting to the pranic force, but also some specific breath work. There are different kind of breathing techniques, but the one I'm using is called the holotropic breath work. So holo means globality, and tropine means to go towards. And this breathing is really some kind of circular breathing. We're taking a lot of oxygen by the mouth open, and then just breathing out, but really quickly. And just in a few seconds, we have a huge surge of energy, a chi in our body. So sometimes we can have really some kind of headache because there is too much oxygen in the blood, in the brain, but after a while starting to get used to it. And the last part is related with the I would say physical work. I'm using a lot of, I would say, hiking for that, just by taking care of my body during the exercise, but also it could be from Tai Chi or something like that. Also some yoga, the 5 Tibetan yoga in the morning.
So to sum it up, for you, what encourages and sustains this process is basically meditation, breathing techniques, and physical exercise, especially hiking.
Yes, hiking, this is my way, but it could be completely different. I'm also doing in the morning the 5 Tibetan rides. But this is, I would say, to bring a bit more energy. The main part here is really to be happy, because if the happiness is here, the vibrational energy is bigger, and related to that, we'll be closer to our divine nature. So this is really a question of, okay, let's say we have a pie here. If we have a lot of happiness within ourselves, we don't need any external food. It's really just a small part of happiness that we need a lot of energy from outside, physical food or some consumption habits, addictions or whatsoever. So this is just a question of how much we loving ourselves, and by extension, how much we're able to enjoy the universe, because we are part of this universe. It's when I think loving ourselves, it's not from an egoistic point of view, because I will not be able to love another person if I'm not able to love myself. So this is really an extension of myself to see others and the universe. So this is the biggest part. And then on the mechanical point for the body to get used to it, then it's important to do some physical activities, and I would say some breath work. The meditation is here a bit more to calm down the brain, the mind, and the emotional parts. Because here we're working really on the energetic work, and there is some kind of behavior which is costing a lot of energy. For example, if our mind is always active, looking something in the past, in the future, I don't know, making update on the shopping list or thinking about the neighbor or whatsoever, this is costing a lot of energy. If we are always, for example, in sadness or in anger or whatsoever, this is also costing a lot of energy. So just by calming down the mind and the emotional part, we will be much more efficient regarding to the energy work. And then if we are also able to bring some extra energy by this breath work or this meditation, then we can reach a certain point where we don't need any physical food.
Thank you for
Yeah.
the framing of it, because people need a step-by-step guide sometimes to be able to cope to this. And because you're a scientist, I'm happy to ask, what do you know happens in the body during this process? So what chemicals, what is the inner process from a scientific level for us to be able to be sustained by chi or energy or prana? How is this possible?
Okay, thank you for this tricky question. This is not so easy. Actually, I've read the nice book from Michael Werner. He's also a scientist and he's working with pranic, and he just checked a bit how is it working inside the body. And he gave some interesting numbers. Actually, he said everybody is also pranic, but with a different kind of ratio. For example, if we just assume that the body is like a black box and we're just observing the input energy inside the box and the outside, the output energy. The output energy is the energy responsible for our heart to beat, to maintain the body temperature, to use this energy also to circulate the blood up to the brain, to the feet, and so on. So if we just are able to measure the amount of calorie that we are able to gather for all these functionalities in our body, and the amount of calorie that we are able to bring inside the body, we are already discussing about 75% that we are not able to explain. Because when we're taking food, we just assume this quarter of energy from the body expanse. So we are already, everybody, like 75% on pranic. And then there is the people eating a lot, eating meat and a lot. They are really at, I would say, like 75. Some people, they are already vegetarian. So this ratio is increasing. There is less and less need of physical food. It means their vibrational energy is a bit higher, and they, I would say, resonating with the life force energy. And this is really a question of energy. Actually, we speak also about the light nourishment. The light for me is really some kind of information. And if we see on the physical point of view, I'm an experimental physicist, the matter is just some kind of slow down light or slow down information. This is just waves, energy waves. Actually, if we would be able to see the matter, how it really looks like, we wouldn't able to see some field things. It would be just empty.
So it's just energy that it's operating at a denser vibration, you are saying.
Yes, exactly. So frequencies who has been a bit slowed down, and this is what we can see in this material world. But this is illusions. And about the prana and this nourishment, this is really some kind of resonance effect. When we are matching a bit closer to this live sinus waves, then we're getting much more energy from it. And when we are really able to match this energy, then there is no illusion anymore. We are really, I would say, in the divine presence, and we can live, I would say, in an amazing way, in a happiness, and there is no hunger anymore. This is the point, actually. Everybody would like to go there. It's to be on a situation where there is no emotional, mental, or physical hunger. And this is by, I would say, working on ourselves to increase this vibrational energy.
So it's basically a frequency alignment, you are saying. So it's not trying to bring more light into the body, but it's just aligning to the light, to the frequency of the light, and then it is natural call to us.
Yes, this is my personal perspective. We call it breatharianism. It means we're breathing the energy inside, but actually the energy is already outside everywhere. It's just by changing, I would say, the reception that we are taking the prana. Even if we are not doing any breath work, we would be able to take all this prana. This is just by changing, I would say, the inside that we can gather it. I made a bit of speleology, and when we are inside the ground at, I don't know, 200 meters below the ground, and we have to stay here for I don't know, 10 hours, we could have the impression there was no prana anymore because there is no life. If we just go below 30 or 40 meters below the ground, there is no animals anymore, no insects, no plants. So there is no life. This is the impression. But there is exactly the same amount of prana. So the prana is going really through the matter. It's everywhere at the same time. So it's not by having the impression to take it from air, it's really by changing the way we are resonating with the life. But the breath work is still important because we have the focus on something. And here the intention is really important. Okay, I'm taking the energy from outside, then it's nurturing this effect. But I would say it's still an illusion because we have already everything from the beginning.
Maybe the breath is just aligning with one of the elements the body is made of.
Yes.
This might be so.
I would say it's a way also to connect the body to the spiritual experiences. Because if we are really within our divinity inside, and we are, I would say, attuned to this life, sinus energy, we need also to spiritualize the body. And through this breathing, we can actually do it. But
Yes.
I would say at the end, this breath work is not necessary anymore. It could be really like passive, like a reflex.
So basically, the breath work is just a tool to maybe tame our mind or refine the body until it's not needed
Yes,
anymore, until the
yes.
breath work
Actually,
is
some
not
kind
needed
of
anymore. It's a tool.
transition. Yes.
Okay. And this is happening, okay, at the spiritual level and at the energy frequency level. But going now back more into the matter or more into the science of it, because
Okay.
I want to have the most of your scientific approach here.
Okay.
What
Okay.
would you say it's occurring? Does anybody have a study or anything about what it's occurring at the chemical level in the body or stuff like that?
Okay. About the chemistry, I'm a physicist, so I didn't work a lot on it. Um, but usually we say about the food and the prana is that we are taking the prana stored inside the food into the physical nutrients. Okay, this could be an explanation, but I would say really basically to energy frequencies. If we are just frequencies and we are able to add some extra information towards these frequencies, then the cells will be aligned with this flow of energy. So we will access to this infinite energy. So this is really what we call quantum physics. So we will speak about non-local, out of space or out of time. It's just a matching between two frequencies. About my background and the neuroscience I did, I could really observe that the mind, I would say the electrical activity, because there is still a huge difference between what we can observe in the mind or in the brain and the consciousness, or really where the thoughts is happening. Actually, the brain is just a receptor, a way we have to get the thoughts, and then it's translated into the body. But here, just by changing the mindset, we can change a lot of things in the body. Even nowadays in the genetics, they speak about epigenetics. It means the surrounding of the people will activate some genes, or I would say put in sleep some other genes. So it's really at the beginning the thoughts which is influencing everything. And if we just check about the process of the prana, a lot of people they have troubles to get to this pranic state because they need to somehow fight or to heal themselves regarding some I would say collective thought package. It's called egregores or tulpa. So it's really some ideas. There is, for example, one specific idea about pranic is the body is not able to survive without any physical food. And of course, if we want to get there, we need to work on this limited belief and to know that we are more a spiritual being doing a physical experience than the reverse. So,
Perfect. And what is your approach to this? How are you helping people change this belief? Because we know you are doing also healing and workshops on this subject. So most of the people on this planet, and some of them of the ones who are willing to go fully on prana, have this limiting belief of not being able to be nourished by light alone. How do you help them heal? What are you doing, like step by step?
okay. We used to say, for example, for the 21-day process, there is 3 weeks, and each week is responsible for a different kind of body. The first week is related with the physical body. So if the person is used to do some sport, he will have much more energy. If the person is used to do some yoga, there will be much more energy inside his body. And the second week would be on the emotional level, and the last one, I would say, on the spiritual level. But if we just focused on the first one, I remember during the process, the first kilograms who went out during the diet, because at the beginning there was really a diet process, and then there is a reprogrammation of the mind, but also the cells. And then we're going into panic state.
That's what I'm asking about.
Okay. On the physical part, there is a lot of what we call crystallization. This is this egregore stored in the body. And the lipids that we have quite often is some solidification of frustration. Okay. The first kilograms I left were related with some kind of addiction. So I hadn't any caffeine, tea, drugs, or whatsoever. But this is the experience I could share with other people. So addiction, stuff, materials. It could be also pills, drugs. For example, if you had a long time a headache problem and we take every day some pills, then the first kilograms of this process will release all these toxins, antibiotics that we took during our life. And then this is really on the emotional part. All the fears, all the sadness we had really inside our body are just getting just flushed out. Yeah. The body is storing a lot of memory that quite often we are not really aware. The pranic state is some kind of consequence of a growth process. And within this growth process, we need to go a bit deeper into our subconscious mind. It's like if this is the sea level and we see an iceberg. An iceberg is only 10% visible and the below part is 90%. This is the subconscious mind. And inside the subconscious mind, there is all the fear that are still hidden below the carpet, or some limited beliefs that we have. And actually we need to find a way to get there and to clean ourselves. Because, for example, if I would like to go in this direction in my life, but I don't know what's happening, but I'm still not able to reach this point, it means there is a subconscious part which is not willing to get there, because maybe I'm afraid of success, afraid of failure, or maybe, for example, this direction is not aligned with the vision, for example, my parents would have with me. So I need first to clean all these dependency bridges from other people, limited beliefs, and so on, to get there. So on the physical part, I would say remove all addictions. The addiction is the most energivore behavior that we can have in our life. Okay, it could be smoking, but it could be television, it could be whatsoever. This is taking our life energy. Then changing the way we're eating. It could take several years. It's not a problem. We have time. Sometimes some people, they want to be pranic in 1 month, but it's just, I would say, impossible. They need really to change their way of seeing life and to change themselves. This is not something external. This is really an internal process, an internal victory, I would say.
And it's important to state that it's always a preparation needed. So to force this onto the body could do more damage than good, yes?
Yes, that's right. Actually, I wouldn't suggest to go really directly for the pranic state. I would say if the person is already able to feel inside the body that something is changing, then okay, you can go to pranic and do the process. Actually, nowadays we are not speaking about the 21-day process, but more about the 10-day process, like Ray Maori is making adverts.
Yes.
This is a bit shorter, and the cleansing is a bit more drastic. He's speaking about dry fasting. Okay, everybody has his own solution. For me, my way was more related with meditation. I was working a lot on the compassion to others, but also for myself. And it's really through this compassion that I could go a bit deeper into the subconscious mind and get rid of some fears, some sadness. And when I was really, I would say, about cleanse, then I could channel much more energy for my divine part. And this is where my journey started. Not just one month's rush. It's a whole life process. So I would say know yourself, and it's the best way that you can get there. It's like
Yes, and
Socrates. It's like
for the
Socrates in
one,
the temple. Yes.
sorry, please. It's like subconscious.
Yes, I just wanted to say it's like Socrates. Socrates is saying, know yourself and you will know the universe. This is written on the temple in Delphi.
Yeah.
And I would say this whole journey, this whole spiritual journey is really to get there, to get, I would say, at the most simple things ever. It's who I am. But actually on the process, we just realize this is much more complicated. Complicated because we need to get rid of all these different layers of ignorance.
So it's basically following your inner guidance, but also cleansing up whatever it is that keeps you from embodying more light or being more in alignment with your divine nature.
Yes, exactly.
And it can be uh, a very deep process and sometimes extreme, like the 21-day process, and it can be milder, like the 10-day process that others are having, and also it can be a step by step layers of change, like we are doing with the Luscious Lifestyle program, where we teach people how to meditate, how to stay in prayer, how to change the diet, how to align their mind, how to be
Yes.
more in service, more in nature, more in tune with the music. And then at some point, the frequencies, by all this practice, the frequencies align, and it is light that is nourishing us more than physical food.
Yes. I
So
would
that,
say the path is as important as the goal, or even more. The goal in itself is not really important. It's really to enjoying the self-healing process.
yeah, and
So we should be conscious about it.
whatever steps we are doing is just a detoxing from whatever it's not of divine nature in us.
Yes, that's right. There is also a key point here. We have always the impression there is something outside of us waiting for us, but we have already, from the beginning, already everything inside. So actually, all the teachings that we are taking, all the advices, it's just a way we have to get rid of a lot of unnecessary things. I would say if you can get rid of desires and attachment, then you are really much more aligned already with your true own nature. For example, the emotions, it's coming from the Latin ex movere. It means moving outside of. It's really moving outside of our balance. I'm making a difference between feelings and emotions. A feeling is, for example, happiness or peacefulness. Emotion, it could be joy or it could be anger. But for example, in the case of joy, it could be like having a beer with some friends. We are in joy. This is, we can have also happiness, but in this specific moment, if there is some joy, it means we'll have the craving of having again this joy. So it's like if it's our mood, our happiness level, if we have something like that, a joy, if it's an emotion, then we'll have to pay the price afterwards because we'll craving for it later. So we'll have the lack of it, some kind of attachment towards this emotion. Or it could be just before and after. But at the end of the day, what is really important is to go beyond the emotions and to reach the feelings. Really, the feelings is increasing the mood level. And when we are really happy, even if we had a small accident or whatsoever, something is not happening really the way we were thinking about, then it's not a big deal because we are still happy and we accepting what's happening. So this is really I would say the path to get there. And the pranic state is really a consequence of this nice feeling state. Yeah.
And also about joy or happiness or whatever we seek and think it makes us better. we have it all inside, yes. And from that inner state of joy, we can always attract more joy into our lives so that the craving is not there anymore. You cannot crave for that which you already have, yes?
That's right.
So when you
So
have joy inside, there's no craving from the outside because you already have it and you are drawing joyful situations towards you.
that's right. The key point here is to understand it, okay, on the mental part, okay, these cravings or this sadness or fear, whatsoever, it's just illusions. So we can understand it on the mental level, for example, through a nice book, through a discussion with some friends and so on. Really to able to feel it inside our body. And this is made through the energetic work. So it could be done from breath work or meditation, but this is really implementing a knowledge through a physical behavior or a physical energetic state. And this is through meditation or this panic process.
Yes.
But the first
And
point is really to know.
do you have a preferred way of meditating? We know there are so many ways. There is Vipassana, there is the transcendental meditation, there is the Buddhist traditions, and so on. What do you prefer? What's your favorite?
Okay, I have tried a lot of different kind of meditation. I've also done the Vipassana with Goenka. It's, I would say it's really depending on the person. For example, if I feel that I'm not really grounded for whatever is happening in my life, I will really focus on the haha point. It's just a few centimeters below the navel. This is where there is the geometrical center from the body and also the energetic center. I will just focus there and I have this abdominal breathing. Why is it so important? Because every time we have a thought, no, we're just observing or let it go and coming back to the breath work. So actually we bringing back the body into this spiritual state. And on this place, there is also, it's close to the plexus, the solar plexus. This is where all the emotions are gathering. And if we're able to bring much more energy here, then we will release these emotions. And actually, a lot's happening in our mind due to emotions. So if we are able to calm the emotions through a calm body, then the thoughts will starting to slow down or just calm down. In our society, especially in Europe, we are just breathing with the upper part of the lungs. But the lungs are like a triangle. So even if we're taking the half height of the lungs, we're just breathing with 1/3. If we're breathing with the lower part, the abdominal breathing will work much more with the oxygen. So just by focusing on the higher point would be much more efficient. And also on the diaphragm. This is where all the digestive system is working. So if I feel a lack of grounding, I will do the haha meditation or the abdominal breathing. And then if my mind is too busy somewhere else, sometimes I also work on what we call the white candle meditation. So I'm just closing my eyes and visualize in my mind a white candle switch on and just trying to hold the image of the white candle. This is really a concentration exercise. This is really hard. Yes. Another one, this is really what I'm enjoying and I'm doing the most, is what we call the open heart meditation. I would say the Tibetan monk, they're using it. It's really to bring compassion here. Sometimes compassion could be really elusive and we need to have some kind of approximation. So we can just bring a joy here, or it could be just a memory, a nice souvenir with some friends or a place that we like. With the energy work, it's not really important if it was really real, if this memory is real or not. We can really build our own memory. And then when we are able to see it, to feel it, then we can just introduce it in the heart chakra. So it's just where the thymus are here in the center. And when we can feel this warmth taking more place in the body and coming down everything on the emotional level, mental level, then we can just observe this compassion growing in the body. And for example, for my healing part, this is the fuel that I need to heal other people. This is really through my compassion that I'm able to help other people to heal themselves. Usually we say I'm a healer, so I'm able to heal. No, I'm just a witness of the divine part within the other person, able to heal himself. And in order to make the connection between, again, the patient and his own soul, this is really through my compassion. So every time I'm meditating, usually I'm starting with the compassion, first on myself and then towards the whole universe.
Thank you for this sharing,
Yeah.
and these are very useful tools for our viewers, because we know we all have a good intention, and we all have to we all at in the end want to maintain this state of compassion, but sometimes we just need tools. Sometimes we just need some
Yes.
inner work and some guiding lines in order to just be able to detract this, step back from the limited beliefs and the old ways of being, and step into our divine nature. So thank you for sharing that with us. We know in these occasions, people want to know about more about the lifestyle. So we know you are a meditator and a very compassionate being that is serving the world by teaching and traveling and doing all this healing work also online, like most of us does. But what's your lifestyle like? What's your fun and your, personal
Okay.
life stuff? Are you living alone, or are you holding a family? How is your social, part of existence now?
Okay. On the professional level, I did the last 2 years I was traveling a lot. Just before I was still in the academical work, I was working with a postdoc in neuroscience. Like I said, it's called the CIBM. It's a Center for Biomedical Images. So we were just observing the brain. But actually over there, I wanted to do my own research regarding pranic state, but also healing energy and so on. But it wasn't really possible to do it because I would say the society or the place where I was working in was not ready, or their eyes were not open enough. So actually now I'm looking for the next step to go and be able to make really some bridges from my scientific backgrounds and the energy work that I'm doing, because I know that it's also possible to measure it in the body, or energetically we'll be able to observe some kind of behavior. So that's, I would say, my next step. And the last 2 years, I was traveling a lot, doing a lot also on experiences on a personal level, meditation, conferences. I was also giving courses about mediumship and pranic. And now I'm starting to apply to move to the next step. So actually, I don't know where is my future. I think it's also important to have a bit surprise for for our life. And about my lifestyle, so this is on the professional part. I'm used to give courses, conferences, and healing by Skype. This is my way to earn my money. I'm not spending a lot because I don't have really any need.
No, we're actually asking about, your family life, your interactions with family, friends, partners. How are they
Okay,
reacting to this? This is what we were asking.
okay. About the family parts, they were a bit surprised at the beginning, but then they were trying to understand it because, for example, with my father, we could share a lot of books, and we were exchanging point of view, and actually he's really enjoying the fact that I'm going into this way. He's just observing happily what's happening. With my mother, she doesn't understand everything, but when she's able to see me happy, then she's also happy. So that's I would say enough for her. And other people, I'm not able really to share a lot of what's happening in my life with other people. I have a lot of friends coming from the physics background, and they are usually really scientific, but it means also pragmatic, Cartesian, And when I'm speaking about energetic work, they have the impression, okay, Pascal is gone mad, or I don't know.
You're the weird one of them. Yes.
Yes. But I'm observing the last few years that my surrounding is starting to really change. And I have much more healer, other mediums, people surrounding me, and I'm able really to share this with these people. Sometimes they're really afraid of what's happening because they would place themselves into my situation and they can really feel the need they have with the food, because actually the food has really a strong connection with the emotion. When we are just a baby born, uh, the first cry, the mother is coming with the milk. So when there is an emotional problem, we have the food.
The food.
And
Yeah.
we need really to go until we're able to solve our fear of death in order to go beyond and to be able to enjoy pranic state. Because it's the fear of death from the cells, but also the emotional part and the mental part. And a lot of people are not able to see themselves beyond the fear of death. Actually, the fear of our own death is just the fuel of all the different fears that we can have, that we can observe in our life. So if you are able to really work on this root fear, then there is no fear anymore. And then there is the fear of difference. Okay, this person is acting in this way. So he's some kind threatening the way I'm seeing the life. He's pushing a big pressure on the paradigm or the way I'm seeing the life. So if I want to define my small comfort zone or my small way of seeing the life, then I need to push him away. This is, I would say, what I could have observed. But I'm not used to speak too much about it. This is real. Only inside my community where there is mediums and other healers.
Okay. So this is actually a joyful time now that these communities are being created with the Pranic World
Yes.
Festival and also this summit and uh, all the work we're doing together, because now it is what I felt and how I was guided to create this is that now it's a time of working together and sharing together, and each
Yes.
one of us have worked so diligently in the past few years for this evolution, individual evolution and collective evolution. And now it's a time of sharing and the time of enjoying the time we are having together here on earth, all of us, you know, because we speak the same language.
Yeah, that's right. The globalization is not only on the industrial level
No, no.
with the merchandising, this is also really on the energetic level. And actually, every people who is able to work on a Hispanic energy or just on his spirituality will influence a lot of people around. For example, when I came back at home after this 21-day process, I was just telling my family that I was going to a meditation course, but I was not specifically speaking about the pranic work. And the few days after, my parents, they were just starting to eat much less.
Yes.
So they were just realizing, oh, what's happening? I'm not hungry anymore. So I was not talking about that. Just by being myself and to be close to my family, it was this kind of behavior. So if we're able to really share, to enjoy also sharing these things without any taboo, any limitations, then the truth will win one day. Or the
And
people, at least they will have the choice to see
the
what they want to see.
energy is just emanating out naturally without us having to say much.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, Pascal. Thank you so much for all your sharing.
Yeah.
We know I've seen on your website that you are doing some work also on the geomagnetic field. So I feel it is very connected with healing Gaia also.
You mean geobiology or?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Um, my definition of geobiology is really the energetic system of a physical body. It could
Mhm.
be the chakras, but also the auric layers, because usually we say we have one auric field and that's all. Actually, we have different layers. And when I'm working through a healing process with a person, I'm I'm able to feel where there is this kind of crystallization. For example, if we have throat chakra, which is a bit diminished or a bit starting to close, then it could be some limited beliefs here behind. Just an example, the programmation that we had received during our childhood related to our culture, the parents, or whatsoever, this is also creating what we are now. But this is going much more further. This is also going to different past lifetimes. For example, if a different past life, I was a monk, I made, I don't know, the wish to be poor, uh, to be alone. I mean, to have no contact with other ladies, or to be in silence. For example, these three wishes, if I haven't decided to close it, it could be still influencing my life right now. So I could perceive it and somehow unblock these chakras. By seeing how the energetic machine of the person is working, I know afterwards that there is again the connection with the soul. So this is what I'm actually also what I'm teaching, the way to perceive the chakras, to remove the crystallization. And by the way, I was speaking about compassion and this open heart meditation. The way I'm removing the limitation that we have in our body, this is really through a compassion. What I'm doing, for example, if I'm experiencing fear of something, for example, a snake is just in front of me and I'm afraid of it. What I can do is just like put it in my hands. So I'm not feared, I have fear. So if I have something, it means I can also have not it anymore. So I just putting it onto my hand, and just by using my heart chakra, sending a lot of light and compassion, just understanding this fear. So this is a strategy to protect me. It's like all fear, all sadness, this is always some kind of protection programs. And if we are able to understand why it was important to create this kind of crystallization, then we are able to solve it. And then we're starting to be just a pure channel, just of the life energy.
Beautiful. This has been a beautiful sharing with you, Pascal, and thank you so much for
Thank
the
you.
tools that you have shared with us, because we all need practical stuff in order to be able to manage the things we experience in our life and the challenges or maybe the healings that we need to do. So, if there's anything else that you would like to add, or we're just thanking you for your presence
Okay.
and your wisdom.
Thanks a lot to have me the opportunity also to share my experience. I will appreciate it, and also to gather all these people to have actually, I would say, the same message. The core message of all these people is always the same: is love yourself, and then you will be able to love everything around, and all the illusion that will just be far away.
Exactly. And as we are creating this tapestry of love also in the physical by joining all of our love and intentions together with the summit and with everything we do, this love goes stronger in the planet. And
Yes,
it goes wider around the planet in order to just help everything around us.
it's a butterfly effect, resonance effect, and it's growing.
This is
Uh,
my belief and my intention.
Okay, thank you for that. I would like just to add something. If you want to go on your spiritual way, maybe just take 10 minutes every day to sit with the open heart meditation. Just calm your mind, putting your head on your heart chakra, and just stand in love about yourself. If the people are able to do that, they will see how amazing they can change in a better way in just a few weeks. And then naturally you will start to change your behavior and you will grow and expand. So thanks a lot for everything.
Thank you so much. And for the audience, those of you who want to know more about Pascal, you can find data and contact about him on our participant page on the Pranic Consciousness Summit. And those of you who want to watch the interviews later, you of course can join on the page and save the video page somewhere in your favorites or in your preferences so that you can have access to it anytime. And please share this information with your friends and make it grow wider, because it is necessary for humanity now. And there are so many people like Pascal and others willing to offer help and knowledge about this. Thanks so much to everyone who are participating to this summit, and may you be all blessed and healed with the presence of love. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye, Christiana. Bye bye,
Bye
everybody.
bye, everybody.
Thank
This
you
is
for listening.
Christiana and Trajan, your host for the Pranic Consciousness Summit. Thank you.